All right, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Masterful Conversations podcast, where we learn about leadership from the men who have served or are currently serving as Worshipful Master in a regular lodge of free and accepted Masons. I am Brother Matthew Wagstaff, a past master of Eureka Lodge number 36 out of Rochester, New York, where currently serving as my Worshipful Master is Brother Jermaine Myers. And I'm with
I am Brother Mark Alexander, proud past master of Sons of Kings Lodge number 123, Kings County, Brooklyn, New York, where Brother Kevin Parker serves as our worshipful master.
We both hail from the most worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge of the state of New York. We're currently serving as our Grand Master is most worshipful Darren M. Morton. And we have another great guest today for you all, coming from the Sons of Kings, another Sons
Kingsman.
of Kings. But before we get into our introduction of our guests, we do have a quick disclaimer.
This show is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. The views and opinions are our own, do not reflect the views and opinions of our respective lodges or grand lodges. If you have any questions, please consult the proper officer and your respective jurisdiction.
Absolutely. So with that, I want to welcome Past Master Ed Rodriguez to the show today. He is a past master of Sons of Kings Lodge number 123 out of Brooklyn, New York. He served as Worshipful Master in the years 2015 and 2016. He is a past Commander in Chief of Long Island Consistory number 61. He is also the past district president for the second Masonic district of the Most Worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge of New York. And he received the last and final degree, the 33rd degree of the Ancient Accepted Scottish Rite. So with that, welcome, Past Master Rodriguez, to the Masterful Conversation podcast.
Good evening, and thank you for having me, Past Master Matt Wagstaff and Past Master Mark Alexander. It's indeed my pleasure.
Definitely a pleasure to have you on the show. We appreciate you being here. And so, this show is about leadership and understanding the history behind our guests on the show. So, just let's kick it off real fast with a little bit of background about yourself, Past Master Rodriguez. Share a little bit about the date you were raised, a little bit about the size of the lodge when you were raised, who was the worshipful master, and then we can talk about your movement and your leadership journey to the East.
Sure. I was raised November 21st of 2009. The size of the lodge, I would say somewhere in the about 60 plus members, give or take a few members. And the worshipful master at the time was Past Master Kevin Manley, was the worshipful master at that time.
Excellent. And so when you were raised in that time, in 20, it said 2009. I'm trying to think
Yes.
who was Grandmaster around that time.
Dorian Glover.
Dorian, yes.
He actually was the 2 years I served as worshipful master. He was also the
Yeah, so he would
actually
have been
wait, I'm
master
sorry,
then, yeah.
no, my apologies. He was 2016,
Yeah.
and it was Larry Mitchell, I believe.
Nah, it couldn't have been
Not
that. It might
215?
have been I'm talking about 2009 when you got
Oh
raised.
no, no, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Oh, so
Mhm.
for 2009? Oh,
It was
wait.
a good senior?
Could have
Yes,
been.
B. Robinson Smith Sr.
Senior.
Yep.
Something around that.
All right. Excellent. So, all right. So you got raised in 2009. Do you remember the first seat you sat in?
The first seat I sat in, if I'm not mistaken, was Junior Master of Ceremonies. Is where I first started. I don't think I ever sat in the steward's chair seat. I believe I started Junior Master of Ceremonies and then just started working my way around the lodge.
Yeah. And you
Mhm.
said it was about 16 or 60.
No, about 60. Our lodge tends to run between, I would say, 55 and 67 members since I've
Okay.
been there, give or take. So I would say in the 60s.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Great. Great. And so you started in the Master of Ceremonies place, and then you moved through the lodges. What were some of the other seats? So talk a little bit about your progression and the movement that you made on your journey to the East.
Well, the progression was pretty much straightforward. I mean, I started junior master ceremonies. I did not sit also as a marshal. So it's junior master ceremonies, senior master ceremonies, junior deacon, senior deacon, junior warden, and then at the time I was asked, and I had the support of the lodge to go to Worshipful Master, but I declined for the reasons that I wanted to
It
actually sit in every seat.
had to been 2014
Yes,
when Damon went back into the seat, our first
that is
master to repeat. Yep.
Mm.
that is correct, and that's the reason he went back. Because at that time they asked me twice, I had the support, and I said no, because I wanted to actually sit in every seat before I got to the Worshipful Master seat, and that was pretty much my progression. I became Worshipful Master. As Mark likes to remind me, I was the first initiated, passed, raised Worshipful Master of Sons of Kings Lodge number 123.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mhm.
And I served 2 years, and I think I had a pretty good successful 2 years. My there was a lot of different things that I wanted to do, but my main objective was finances. And I think I was able to lay the foundation down that I think we're still carrying, not I think that we're still carrying today as far as finances. I'm currently the treasurer of the lodge. So that kind of, in my mind, is I like that for a lot of reasons, and one being that I still can try to keep some type of financial structure in order, as when I was worshipful master. I do get overridden every so often, but by the members, but but I keep it. It's good. I'm happy to be that. Um, and I'll bounce around if you don't mind while we speak.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a quick story. So when I came in to Sons of Kings Lodge 123, and the day of the fellow crafting degree, um, we were out, we were outside. We didn't go inside. We go inside, and there's this brother by the name. I don't remember his last name. I know it's Dwayne,
Mhm.
and I think he's from African Lodge, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
I'm
I know
not.
you're talking about. Mhm.
I didn't know. I thought the brother. I didn't know anybody. You're still kind of clueless, and of course, like anything, you don't meet all the brothers. So he does the middle chamber, and that left me. I was blown away by it. And at the end of the evening, I went up to him and I shook his hand, and I told him how impressed and how taken aback I was by the work he did on the middle chamber, verbatim, no book. And after that, we parted ways, and I'm talking to a couple of brothers from the lodge, and one of them being my sponsor, Aaron Patrick. And I says, I got to tell you, that brother's so talented, man. And he says, who? And I point them out. He says, yeah, that's Dwayne. And I says, does the brother come out often? He says, he's not part of this lodge. I say, are you kidding me? He says, no, he's not. I says, wow. I said, so who does the middle chamber here? He says, we don't have anybody that does it. I said, I'm going to be the first guy to do it. And sure enough, after I got raised, right after that, I did the middle chamber.
Mm.
And I did it verbatim, no book. And then, of course, you know how everything else is, right? Once they know you can do something, you're getting called all over the place. So I went to an occasional up in the Grand East and did the chamber, and I went to certain places and whatever. And that I was actually the first person to do the middle chamber. My brother comes in, Past Master Carlos Rodriguez comes in a year after I've been raised, and he's also so impressed, and he learned it, and
Mm.
he's taking the lead on it because I fell back on it. But I do have a goal. My goal is on my 20th anniversary as a master mason with Sons of Kings, I am going to give the little chamber. So
Nice.
Wow.
so that's going to be my gift to me into the lodge on 20th anniversary. So I've got 4 years, which I'll remember. It's not. I was looking at it not recently, and it's coming back. So in 4 years, I'll be at the lodge. God willing, I'm still up and around, and I'm going to do the middle chamber again.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about like what your and we'll get into the mastership a little bit, but I'm curious about your study habits. So brothers that are listening right now, um, we've emphasized on this show a lot. Like one of the biggest distinctions between our organization and other charitable organizations is our ritual and the value of knowing the ritual. So can you share a little bit about your study habits and how you actually went about studying that massive body of work, which is the middle chamber?
Well, what I did was every day I would as far as I'll first start with the middle chamber and tell you about my study habits. So with the middle chamber, what I was doing was every day I would try to memorize at least 3 to 4 lines. That's it. Every day, not more than that. And then I would repeat it to myself the following day and look in the book to see if I missed anything. And then I would add 1 or 2 more lines. And I kept doing that every day. But I would carry my book with me because I would continuously in my head go over it and just look in the book to see if I missed anything. And that's all I did. Just every day I would add two more lines to whatever I added. And by the time you knew it, I had the middle chamber down packed. And then I don't know who it was, but I said, I want to do the middle chamber. And I did it. It might have been my line brother at the time. Uh, oh God, was John Hamilton John.
Hamilton, I would figure that's what it was. Yeah.
Because we used to study a lot
Hmm.
together. He used to come to my house and we study in the backyard uh, when he was around. I mean, this was like maybe once or twice a week we would do it. We'd get together.
Mm.
And that's how I got to do that's how I was able to retain the middle chamber. As far as my study habits, I've always been a reader. Always. I've always loved reading from a very young age.
We could
Um,
tell by the books in your background.
yeah, I have a yeah. And full disclosure, I've probably read about 75 or 80% of the books I have in my
Hmm.
I guess what they call a private personal library.
Yeah.
I have a lot of books I have, but the thing is I have this bad, and that's not a bad habit, but I have a habit. So I don't write stuff down or have to remember anything. When I see a book I know I'm gonna get eventually, I just buy it and leave it on the shelf and get around to it. So
Hmm.
so I was always a big reader, and prior to getting into mainstream, okay, sorry, prior to getting to mainstream, I was a big reader. When I got it, when I was considering into mainstream, um, the only book I read and knew of was the Mainstream for Dummies, just to get an idea. But like anything else, I'm still clueless because whatever I'm reading, a lot of it's I understand but doesn't make sense to me, you know. Um, and then I said to myself, all right, I'm going to start this journey. As far as my study habits, um, being a big reader, I tend to just read. I read every day, so I carry a book with me every day in my bag.
Mm.
I'm in law enforcement, so I carry a bag with me, and I take the train. And I carry a book with me that's in my bag from when I'm traveling, and then I tend to have a book on my dresser. Truth be told, and my wife gets annoyed with me. Like I have my home office with all these books, but in my bedroom, I have like another stack of books in another shelf. And up on the dresser, I have another 2 or 3 books laying around because I tend to like to reference things and I like to own books. That's just one of my things. I'm not big into audiobooks. I've never done an audiobook and stuff like that. I like to have the actual book. So I just read a lot. I cross-reference a lot. Sometimes it takes me a little longer to finish a book that somebody might finish quicker than I would, because I tend to look up words and it's just not reading and flipping pages in my mind you know. So that's really my study habits. But again, I just enjoy reading. So, and I read about a lot of things. I mean, I read religious books, philosophical books. Before becoming a Mason, I was heavy into reading self-help books, and philosophical books, and here and there religious books. But it's Mason and sales books because I did real estate for 20 years.
Mm.
I read a lot of real estate material, and I would also go to a lot of those what do you call it, these seminars.
Seminars.
Yes, seminars for sales and things of that nature. And those type of seminars tend to rally around books that are like self-help and motivational books.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I was into all that stuff, and now I tend to read a little bit more. I still do my Masonic reading, but right now, I'm more into Puerto Rican history, Black history, and things of that nature is what I'm reading. So yeah, so that's pretty much it of what I do as far as studying and things of that nature. Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, I heard you consistently, so every day you study when you were doing the middle chamber. So it's consistency. You have a partner that you are studying with, and then also just a general sort of love for reading. Seems like the three elements that kind of helped you through that process: consistency, partnership, and a love for reading.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm sorry if I veer off, but we're having a conversation. So I don't know how you can be in this organization and tell me that you fully understand it. And this organization, and this is my opinion, I believe this is what it is. This organization is a transformative sciences, is what it's teaching you. We're supposed to teach you, right? Because we're supposed to transform from who we are to what we could be, you know?
Mm.
Um, so I don't know how it is that you can tell me that you are fully engaged in this craft if you don't read. It's impossible for me. And I'm not talking about historical stuff or repeating the ritual. That's all good. That's all good, and that has its place, you know. But for that self-transformation, and the ritual does help because there's lessons to be learned from the ritual. So I'm not discounting the ritual. But what I'm saying is, I don't know how it is that if you're not reading and studying, then how is it that you're applying anything?
Hmm.
There's only the knowledge you have is the knowledge you gain, right? So, so if you're not gaining anything, you know, what's the new thing that you're adding to your growth and development?
Yeah,
Basically,
yeah.
still. So to me, if you're not into reading, and you don't have to read as much as anybody else, but if you're not into reading at all, I don't see how it is that you tell me that you're practicing and applying Freemasonry to your life.
Mm. How long did it take you to master or to get to the point where you could actually give the middle chamber in a degree? How long did it take you roughly?
Before I gave the middle chamber,
Yeah, when you started
oh,
it to when you actually gave the middle chamber.
time wise,
Yeah.
Yes.
that takes about. All right, so and I apologize if I'm not answering the question. If you're talking about the middle chamber itself, takes about 40-45 minutes, I think it is.
No, no, no. I mean, how long did it take for you to learn it? So that you can
Oh, to
like
learn it. Oh, I apologize. I apologize. I would say I had it down packed probably, I don't know, maybe a month and a half, like
month and a half?
fully down packed. Yeah, yeah,
His
yeah, yeah.
last name is Rodriguez. You got to
Oh
excuse
no.
that.
Oh my man,
Yeah, yeah,
man.
yeah,
That's
yeah. I'm
impressive.
telling you, I carry. I don't do it now as much because again, I would be lying to you if I tell you that I'm in the ritual the way I used to be. But I do read and look into ritual, right? But no, I carried my ritual everywhere. I'll give you a funny story. There's no difference. Like when I've spoken to past Master Manley, he's a bus driver. He said, Ed, we were in conversation one day. He says, people thought I'm nuts because I'm driving and I'm talking, I'm reciting stuff in my head, but my lips are moving.
Yeah.
And they're like probably thinking, what's wrong with this bus driver? So again, it's about consistency and it's about your desire. Um, listen, I read Kevin Mordaly's book in about a day and a half, I think it was, because I found it that interesting. And
Hmm.
there's other books that I find interesting that take a little longer. I started reading. I'm reading this book right now. The one I carry in my bag is called the Farrakhan Factor. It's 15
Mm.
it's 15 essays written by Black scholars and things of that nature, giving their different opinions about Louis Farrakhan. I
Oh,
started
Mm.
yesterday. I'm probably about on like 30 pages in already. I was actually reading before I got on with you guys because the book is very interesting so far. With the first essay that I'm reading from by Louis Gates, giving his opinion on him. So again, when you find something of interest and it calls your attention, it's like anything up. Your day and night or every available hour, you're just doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did that sort of spill into your leadership journey? So when you were like the deacon and when you were junior warden and then ultimately master, how did that love for reading and that passion for the ritual sort of spill into your leadership style?
So I'll tell you, when I came into Freemasonry, as I mentioned, I did real estate for 20 years, right? And during the course of that, um, and because of that, I came prepared to be a leader or to take charge, or more importantly, to be very proactive. Let's use that word. Okay. Why? When and I did real estate full time for 20 years, no outside jobs, no part-time jobs, none of that. So when you're doing real estate, you're an independent contractor. So you have to be motivated to make money. If I'm not making money, we're not eating in my house. Okay, so I was working 7 days a week, 10 hours a day when I first started until I built up a client list, and then I became much more better at what I was doing, right? Fast forward, I turn around and I become part owner of three Century 21 offices. So now first I was manager, and then I was I was broker, part owner. How did that work into my leadership? I have a sales staff of, let's just say, 15 people. None of them are getting paid by me. The 1099 independent contractors. They can easily tell me, screw you in your meetings, and so on and so forth, because you don't pay me. But I was very successful in being able to motivate salespeople that were getting nothing from me other than my honesty and my help. You understand? So that was a big training ground for me, those years of real estate, between the sales and the management. Because the sales taught me that I had to do for myself. The management taught me how to deal with folks that are getting nothing from me financially at that, from a sales staff. But even with the people, that dealing with the public helped a lot, because I dealt with people that were as sweet as you can imagine, and I dealt with some of the nastiest people that you can imagine, insulting and everything. And with all that, the big picture was I got to get a deal done, and I would swallow all that and work around a lot of those things just to get the deal done. You understand? Because that obligation is not just to me, but I had an obligation to the seller of the property. You understand? So that built up my tolerance level. That built up my ability to rationalize. That built up my ability to stay focused when you're getting cursed out or insulted or whatever. It built up a lot of qualities that I have today. My tolerance level is very, very high. I mean, you have to like really get under my skin or get very personal for me to just like go off the rails. But other than that, so that all that wrapped up coming into masonry. Here's a guy, myself, coming in self-motivated and able to deal with and have a high tolerance level for a lot of things, right? Right. And being able to be logical and rational and so on and so forth, right? And dealing with people, which is the most important thing, because you're not going to get anywhere in life if you can't deal with people, right? So I come into mainstream and it's a perfect fit. I have those qualities to be part of the organization from that end. The other part is to now apply myself and learn those things that are being offered to me or being told to me, and those things that I need to add to complement and supplement the things I'm learning, so that I could become the person I want to be, because I take masonry serious. I don't see people say, well, I'm a mason, I'm this and that. Or, they don't, a lot of folks, brothers, I've come to realize, don't distinguish. You have the administrative side, or the organization side of masonry, and then you have masonry, the science, right? And I'm more concerned with masonry, the science, because I'm here to improve myself. And Mark will tell you, I'm on quite a bit of chat rooms because I like to stay abreast of what's going on, but I'm not one guy to be in chat rooms talking and giving opinion. And I just don't get engaged with that stuff, because a lot of that stuff is just, for me, a waste of time. You understand? A lot of it, not all of it. So, there's very few brothers that I speak to, Mark being one of them. I mean, hell, Mark I speak to more than to my own brother. He lives next door. Me and Mark talk 3-4 times a week at
Yeah,
least.
at least.
At least, unless I pick his brain 7 times a week, then those extra phone calls, whether he likes it or not. But I just, hey, listen, Mark is one of my teachers. Mark has taught me a lot. You know what I'm saying? So this is the book I don't have at home that I can call up. So
Absolutely. Love it.
but seriously, that's how I was able to how I found my success, So I believe that we're all directed to the things we're supposed to be at, where we're supposed to be at. So mainstream, I believe, was for me, and it is for me. I live my life as best as I could as a Mason. You understand? No one's perfect. But my concentration is being a better man through the teachings of Masonry. And that's what I do. I mean, I was one day talking to one of our brothers, Brother Ed, and he asked me, "Why don't you wear any?" And I had been, I've been a Mason now. I'm going on 16 years this year. And he says, "Why?" Years ago, he says, "Why don't you wear any? Have any regalia or rings or this and that and whatever?" And I told him straight up. I said, "You know what, man? I still got a lot of issues personally that I like to work out before I could put on that ring and be honest and proud that I'm actually wearing it with a clean mind."
Mm.
And it took a long time. And finally, when I found myself in a place that I guess I can be that no one can really come at me and say you're this or that, is when I said, you know what, now I can wear a ring instead. If anybody, there's no one out there that could come say this guy's a thief or he's this or that, and you can't, because I don't do any of that. I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? I have my faults like anybody else, but I could wear the ring with a clean mind and a clean conscience, and that was important to me. You know, that was very important before I put on any jewelry, because I felt I'm being a hypocrite if I'm wearing a Masonic ring, but I'm doing things that I know I should not be doing, willingly doing things I should not be doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that was a big thing for me. Yeah.
Um, Eddie, you just spoke about how in the real estate game that you actually was an effective leader, as you have got to motivate the team to do what they need to do.
Yep.
So, in your opinion, what is effective leadership?
Effective leadership. You know, I'll answer that with I'm going to paraphrase a quote that
Hmm.
Theodore Roosevelt is credited for, and I heard this years ago.
Hmm.
Just to pick the right people for the job, and you can look it up. It's more a little bit more, but
Hmm.
pick the right people for the job, and then get out of their way. Basically, restrain yourself from being in their way.
Hmm.
So effective leadership to me is to be, first and foremost, you have to be honest as possible, right?
Hmm.
And honesty is difficult for a lot of people, not because people might be dishonest, but because you feel embarrassed that you might hurt the person's feelings and you don't want
Hmm.
to cause a wave, right? And we all go through that. I
Hmm.
remember a t-shirt. I mean, there's little things that kind of inspire me. I remember a t-shirt that they gave my brother one year, and I said, I'm taking that. He said, take it. It says, speak up, speak out, don't be spoken for. And I used to wear that t-shirt proudly. You
Hmm.
understand? Because it really hit home. It hit
Hmm.
home, you know? And that's one of the problems that I think we face when we're leaders and we're not being effective, is that we don't want to tell it how it is. So the first thing is telling it how it is. But like anything else, I always tell folks, you can ask me whatever you like as long as you're respectful. And as you can tell me whatever you like as long as you're respectful. Because I'm okay with that. You can point out any faults if I lied or you caught me in a lie or whatever. Let me know. Let me know. But it's just how you come at me, right? So first and foremost is to be upfront and as honest as you can.
Hmm.
Second of all is to keep your word.
Hmm.
And again, we all got to keep in mind that we might miss a phone call or whatever, but keep your word. You know, people in general, from my years of doing sales, love a person or attracted to a person that's dependent, that you can depend on.
Hmm.
You understand? So you got to keep your word. Um, you have to listen more than what you speak,
Hmm.
and you should definitely. And sometimes it's difficult for all of us. Be as pleasant as you can be. You know, I always used to tell my sales staff, think of yourselves as customer service agents. Don't you get pissed off when you call the customer service agent and they're nasty, rude, and you're trying to
Hmm.
get help? And
Hmm.
you're like, wait a minute, you know, I'm trying to deal with my thing, because we at that moment feel that what we need is the most important thing in the world. And we
Hmm.
want their undivided attention, right? And
Hmm.
that's the same thing that I used to tell my staff when dealing with people. Put yourself in their shoes when you're on the end of that phone for customer service and how you want the service to be. That's the service you should give them. You understand? And that's the type of service a leader should give. You know, whatever it is that you're looking for, you have to give first. You understand? So consistency, how you speak to people, being dependent, speaking up for folks, making yourself available, and more importantly, it's important to know, and I'll use the word product. It's important to know what you're going to talk about, but it's more important to say, I don't know, and I'll get back to you. Because if you get in the realm of trying to do things off the whim or try to make up something that sounds good, you just went back to being a liar. And we just said we don't want to lie.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that knows me in whatever position, and I'm not a title chaser, Mark knows that. These titles really don't mean much to me in the sense that I have my chest out like that. The responsibility that's given with that title is more important to me than the title itself. But I'll never tell you something that I don't. If I don't know, I'll just say I don't know. Let me find out. And just like if we're having a conversation and I say something, you correct me. Thank you for correcting me.
Exactly.
So the ego needs to go away. And I think with that, and I'm sorry, Mark, I think with those particular qualities, I think you can be you become an effective leader. And you got to be a people person also. That's key. That's key. You got to be able to socialize, network, talk to people. And with those qualities, absolutely. Absolutely. I used to tell my brother, he was talking to me one day about his job. I said, let me tell you something. A lot of times it's not what you know, it's a lot of times just being there. And to be an effective leader, if you're always there to the people, for the people that are looking to you for guidance or for whatever they're looking for, that's a big plus. Because again, it goes back to being the dependability that people look for. Unfortunately, and this is just a reality of life, there's more followers than leaders. There's more people in need of assurance than anything else. So if you're in that situation or you're placed in that position to be a leader, those are the things that you have to be willing to demonstrate and get accustomed to. Yep.
Look, since I know you, I know it's a good leadership story. Briefly summarize the story with the passing of McLaurin, past Master McLaurin.
Yeah.
Because that was during your time as master.
You want me to say that? Okay.
Yeah.
So past Master Darren McLaurin was God rest his soul passed, and at the time, we were going to do the Masonic funeral, and we did a Masonic funeral actually, but it was not allowed open casket. Am I correct? Is that what it was? Right?
I don't think we had the funeral. We didn't have the funeral at all.
Right. My apologies. My
Yeah.
apologies. I'm only saying open casket because I think the body was
decomposing. Yeah, that's what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
The body, that's why it was on. Right. So we were not able to give. Boy, and I have the original document here. I don't remember. Excuse me. Do you remember why we weren't able to give the funeral?
Grandmaster told us no because it was a closed casket.
Bingo. My apologies. Yep. Okay. That's okay. Yeah, that's where the okay. So the body's decomposed because they found him about a day or two after he passed, or a few days after. And we wanted to do the funeral, and we were told no because the body was the casket was closed. And I was very adamant of doing it, and to the point that I was like, you know what, whatever the consequences are, they are, because I was told that they would take my jewel and so on and so forth. But I didn't care at that point. We didn't do it because I did. I want to say I took the lead of the past masters in the lodge. You understand? And to a certain degree, I still felt that I was new, which kind of sort of I was. You understand? But that was my sincere view. I titles don't mean anything. Titles mean nothing. So it's about what I believe in, and if I believe it's right, it's right. So unfortunately, we weren't able to do it, but he did have the funeral, and thank God we were able to give his family a very nice. We picked up the repast, and they were very appreciative and things of that nature. So everything worked out. But as far as my thing is this, brothers, in this organization and in life, but we're talking about this organization, right? Titles are nothing. What's important is being who you are, and doing the to the best of your ability the work that they offer and that you accept to do for this organization.
Hey, Eddie, I want you to get to the next point. All right. So they didn't allow us to do the funeral, right? So we didn't do the funeral. So what did we do? What did you spearhead since,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So
exactly.
so we did I got together with Al Lewis, and we got together through his guidance. Al Lewis at several years of my Masonic being a Mason early years ago was one of my mentors. And he's still kind of sort of, but we're not that together. We did an amendment, was it? No, we
Yeah.
presented what do you call it, Mark? I'm sorry.
What a
Uh,
proclamation.
No,
no, no, it's not a proclamation. We basically put in for amendment of the Constitution.
right. We just something that's a right wording for it, but it's right.
Yeah. Hmm.
We presented a change to the Constitution in regards to that situation with the burial,
Okay.
and they got
Hmm.
approved.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so I spearheaded that. So yep, I did that. So that
I
was
just want to,
that was all for
yeah,
that.
just want that as a leadership skill of, all right, so things didn't turn out the way you wanted it, and we thought that, what we was doing was right, so we, just followed the rules within the guide and then went around and got it fixed so that the people after you would never have to suffer that again.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So that's definitely a good leadership skill because you wasn't just thinking about you at the time, you thought about for brothers after you,
Mm,
you
Right.
know? Hmm.
yeah.
So I definitely want to get that out.
Thank you for reminding me, Mark, about that.
Hmm. Hmm.
I
No,
appreciate that,
I've
sir.
done quite a bit of stuff here. I mean, here and there, and a lot of stuff I tend to forget. So, so I
Yeah.
apologize.
It's all good. It's all good. I want to know, I mean, if you can remember 2015, 2016 when you were in Worshipful Master, you said you focused on finances,
Mhm.
kind of without getting into too many details about that, but what was the main emphasis of your trust board, and like what were your key points of your trust board for those 2 years?
So I tell you what, the trestle board itself, there was really nothing new other than, right? I'll tell you two things that. So my main goal was the finances. And one of the things that was I did was first to do, from what I understand, right? I had an interfaith divine service. Okay, so and again, from what I understand, I don't think anybody did that prior to. I was able to. I had my junior warden at the time, and bring in an imam. And then we had the Christian side 1 year. Our current, actually, our
Grand
current
Master. That
Grand
was the first
Master.
one,
Right, he
right?
did. He did
Hmm.
the no, that he did the second.
The second one? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because the first one
Hmm.
we did it in the room on the second floor, the small lodge room on the
Okay.
second floor,
Mm.
for whatever reason. Then the second one we had it in the ball.
Ballroom.
Right, and so that was something new, which was to have an interfaith divine service where we had an imam, Christian speaker, and there was somebody else. And I don't remember who, because we have the Imam, the Christian speaker, and the
I think we were just doing
Babala.
two at that time for a while. We ain't spanned till three until I think my year when we added
Okay,
IFA.
okay, right. The
Hmm.
Ephraim's now, yes, yeah. So we did
Hmm.
two. Did two.
So for those who don't know what you're talking about, one, can you describe what an interfaith divine service is, and the leader or those speakers who you brought on? So people who don't have a clue what you're talking about right now, can you explain
Uh,
what that is?
sure. So we were. I was accustomed as a Mason, a principal Mason, to go to divine services, which were Christian based, right? So pretty much go to the church, or any divine service that they had outside of a church was always a Christian speaker.
Hmm.
So I said to myself one day, I said, you know what? I think it'd be nice if we get a perspective from another speaker. And that's when I came up with the idea of getting a brother that from the Muslim faith. It so happened at that time I spoke to Abdul Muhammad, one of our brothers. He was junior one at the time, and he was able to get the Muslim speaker in collaboration with Past Master again, because they both know that particular imam, and that's how that came about. So the interfaith divine service is just having a religious service with different speakers giving a different perspective on the same topic.
Mm.
So every year we'll pick a topic, and then that those speakers will give a perspective from their holy books on that topic. So as
Mm-hmm.
Past Master Mark just pointed out, we do have the IFA now speaker, and I've been the chairman now since the inception. So I'm the head of the committee, and of course there's other brothers that help me, but I do it every year and I actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
I know somewhere around the other day I was listening to something and it was a really good topic. And I said, that's going to be the topic for
Boy.
2026. So I already have the topic for next year. So yeah, so that's how it came about. So
That's a great idea. That's a beautiful idea, especially I mean us being Masons and
Mm-hmm.
being really not in one particular religious sort of sect and being open to all walks of faith,
right.
moral walks of faith. And so, that's beautiful from my perspective. So thank you
But
for
outside of that, I kept my what I would call my obligations as a worshipful master. We did our degree works
mhm.
at every rehearsal. I did some traveling. Back then when I was master, I did travel here and there. Um, did fundraisers and things of that nature. So to me, that's so standard, you know.
Yeah.
So I did all that. And my second year, I think it was just more to add to the success. I have a belief that if you're going to be worshipful master, you have to be there at least 2 years. Your first year is just to get a feel for what's going on and to start working on things that are being worked on or implement something new. The second year, it should be all engines going. You should be able to just get the most out of whatever you implemented the first year or tried to implement the first year. You understand? I don't think there's any worshipful master could be successful in just 1 year. My opinion. I believe there should be at least 2 years.
One other thing that you actually did too, which because a lot of lodges knew they have it, is the perpetual plaque with the worship masters, past masters on it. So you had
Right.
that past masters night.
Oh, right. So I did a past masters night. Every past master got up, gave a talk for a few minutes, whatever it was. I believe I gave him pins maybe that night.
Something to that
Maybe,
nature.
maybe.
Hmm.
And we did do the plaque also. So we were able also to do the plaque. Um, outside of the lodge, also me and Mark instituted a book club for the
Yeah, we
district.
did it. Hmm.
And it was supposed to start just for the lodge, but then we said any brother could show up, and we would meet once a week at the building. So what we did was it was real simple. We'll get a book, obviously a Masonic book, not more than 100 pages, right? Something
Hmm.
50, 70,
Hmm.
75 pages. We would read through the book. Either myself or Mark would put questions together, send them out. Those are the questions for discussion. Then we would meet at the temple for about an hour, go over those questions, and also give our own perspectives. But those conversations were good because we built on each other's perspectives and thoughts, so they were good conversations. And we did that for about an hour, maybe sometimes a little long. We wanted to keep it to an hour. Sometimes it go a little long because of the energy. And then after that, we would fellowship for like another hour because at that time we had a bar at the building, so we would hang out and fellowship for a little bit, and that helped actually to create bonds,
Hmm.
because it was a thing of studying as well of getting together afterwards, and we were also for those brothers that weren't into reading, we're actually getting them to read a book. So there's another plus.
Yeah. So that's
Hmm.
how the reading love actually translated into your leadership style as a master, is that the book club.
I'm sorry.
So your love for reading actually translated into you being into your mastership through this book club.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
would
because I
say
don't
so.
I don't hear too many other worshipful masters doing book clubs. So I mean that's great. I love it.
I listen. I have a thing, right? So I believe that in this organization, it doesn't matter if you're in the Grand Lodge or you're from the Grand, if you're dealing from a Grand Lodge perspective or just what I call a local lodge, a subordinate lodge. The membership has to be engaged. You understand? The question is, what are you going to engage them in? You understand? So, but I think, oh yeah, a book club is also great. And it's so wild because I was actually thinking about that not too long ago about if I had the time maybe to start it up again. It was no different. And me, Mark, and our other large brother Ed would get together like I think one Sunday a month or every other Sunday, whatever it was.
That was during COVID.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we would say, all right, what are we gonna read? All right, let's look into Royal Arch, and we read up on Royal Arch, and they have a whole conversation about Royal Arch. What are we gonna read? Let's talk about Blue Masonry, and we were doing that, you know.
Yeah.
So
Your
those are
brothers
things
had me
that,
crying on a Zoom. It was crazy.
huh?
I said, your brothers had me crying on a
Oh.
Zoom. It was crazy.
So
It
those
get
are the
emotional, bro.
yeah. So
Oh,
those are the
good.
things. Those are the things that I appreciate, and I would wish that more brothers would be engaged in this fraternity.
Yeah,
Got
definitely.
it. So so now you said you shared earlier that you are currently the treasurer of the lodge.
Now,
And so curious about your leadership style now that you are a past master. How do you show up as a leader for the current worshipful master and the worshipful masters that came behind you?
As
well,
a
what I
pit bull.
do is no, what I try to do with our current worshipful master, the one before me, the current worshipful master and is a dear brother. Um, he's very proactive. He actually wants to learn the work, and he's learned a lot. And he does he's not a sit around type of guy. That I can tell you. You know, he's a very good brother, and he wants to learn as much as possible. There might be a moment here and there where I remind him of something, but I really don't go out of my way suggesting or telling him what to do because I think he has it pretty down packed. The masters before him, pretty much the same. There might have been a master here and there that probably I looked for me more for guidance, and that's okay. But I do not, as a treasurer, I play my role as treasurer. As a past master, no different, maybe a little bit more different, right? As a past master, not even as a past master, as a more seasoned member of the lodge, I'm much more vocal and much more assertive in the things that I think we should be doing. But ultimately, I always end the conversation by, it's up to you, brother, because it's our lodge, not my lodge. You understand? Um, so
But I just want to say, and most of the stuff he said a suggestion, just to know him and what it is. The suggestions are basically a lot of stuff are based off rules and protocols and things like that. So that's why I said the stuff we should be doing.
right.
Mm.
So as far as a leader today, I consider myself a worker. I'm here to help. I'm no longer the master of the lodge. Um, listen, I tell you this. I can show you better than what I can tell you, both the good and the bad. You understand? So I try not to get too vocal about things unless I really have to. And as Mark said, I could be like a little pit bull, like because I'm adamant about things. But it's more, hey, you know what? I'm here if you need my help. And as long as you guys don't go too far left, I'm okay with everything. You understand? So that's pretty much it. I guess
Good.
that's how I'm leading now today.
Now, I say because I just know the brother, so I can say a couple of things. Like,
Oh,
because even I know it started. I don't know if it started, might have been me. Yeah, I believe it started when I was master. Not that he wasn't doing it at all, but when I was master, I know like he had the idea, said, I'm gonna call up a couple of brothers. I don't know if it was like online brothers or just some brothers he seen working and said, I'm gonna start mentoring those brothers. He did that on his own. Nobody asked him to do it. He just knew it was better for them and a lodge. So that's definitely a way that he definitely was there as a past master of showing his leadership ability by guiding brothers in a way that could
Hmm.
help them grow in the organization.
Yeah, it's that internal fire, like you mentioned before. Like it's not like you're very internally motivated to
Mhm.
do a lot of stuff. You don't need people prodding you and poking you and saying you got to move, Eddie, move. You already got that
No,
inside of you.
again, listen, there's things that I could listen. I could find a lot of things to say. I called Mark this week. I said, this new idea they got for this feeding is not what I'm liking, right? So, and I gave him a whole uh, conversation of my
Mm.
point of view. But I also told him, hey, listen, let them do what they're gonna do, and we'll see how it works out.
Yeah.
And because it's not right and it's not fair to think that what we think as individuals is the answer to everything. There's other perspectives, and times do change, you know. And I call myself, to a degree, a conservative Mason in a lot of things. There's just some things I probably will never accept, and I'm not going to get into that. And that's just the reality of life with me. But there's other things that I'm used to, and I think this should be done this way. But I'm also open-minded to know, you know what? We got younger brothers coming up the line, not that young, but younger than me, right? And it's only right to let them do what they feel they want to do, because at least they're trying to do something, you know, and they're not doing something that is detrimental to the lodge. You understand? Because if you do something, you look at it, well, we wasted time and we lost a few dollars. That's not a big deal. You understand? Because those are learning experiences. It's when it becomes detrimental to the lodge and might cause division or things of that nature. Those are the things that one has to step into, you know. Um, yeah, but as far as a leader, man, I'm just basically there for the brothers, man. Whatever they need, and I do. I like I said, I spearheaded the Interfaith Divine Service since its inception, which I was the person that put it together. I've spearheaded the family barbecue we have every year, probably since for a while, because it's actually it went through a couple of brothers' different hands, and they did great jobs. Don't get me wrong. But it wound up on my lap, and then I took it, and our large brother Waku Smith has assisted me since then. So every year, and I enjoy it. You know, I enjoy doing stuff for the lodge, whatever I can do. Yeah, I tell Mark all the time I have zero qualms with my lodge. I love my lodge.
Yeah, but particularly just in going back to the point of, like as a past master, where you lead from as a past master, that's one thing, mattered. You remember when I was in the East, I was like, I don't got no past problem with my past masters.
Right.
Exactly. Because they,
It's
they
all
just be
roses,
there to
all
support.
roses. 123.
Yeah, I mean, but they'll express their opinions, but at the
Yep.
same time, they're gonna be there for you to allow you to do what you need to do to continue to grow. And I wish more of our past masters in our organizations were like that, so that we continue to move forward, and brothers wouldn't have so much headaches. I'm not saying if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, yeah, that's one thing. But when people are just trying to advance the organization in a different way, sometimes you got to give them that freedom. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you think that culture comes from? Where the past masters kind of work towards the benefit of the lodge versus other lodges where the culture may not be. How was that culture sort of reinforced in 123?
I couldn't say exactly where it comes from, but in my opinion, I think a lot of it is just in what they call an old school way of doing things. From my observations and interactions with some of the older members of the Second Masonic Temple, and I'm not going to speak on any of them, and a lot of them have passed, but I remember when I first started going to the building, um, they were welcoming, but they weren't easy, and not in a bad way. You know, I guess they wanted to make sure that, hey, you're here, you're taking this serious, and you're going to get what you deserve. You understand? Because sometimes in organizations, we're too quick to give, not knowing who we're really giving to. You understand? So and I don't think that was a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that was okay. You understand? But where it could pose a problem is as your lodge progresses and ages, right? On both sides, it ages as the members get older, and then not necessarily age, but now you have younger members coming in. The age difference,
Hmm.
right? Unfortunately, some of these are older, and I've observed it myself. They're just looking at how things were being done, and there's not a problem with that. But that was yesterday, and today's today. You understand? And there's just some things that you have to learn to accept and say, you know what? This is just the way life is moving forward. We're progressing. You know, like somebody might be adverse to saying, I'm not getting on a Zoom call. I don't got time for that. I don't know how to mess with a computer. But the reality is Zoom is where it's at right now with just about a lot of things. You understand? I still want stuff mailed. People really don't use mail anymore. Everything's emailed, you know? And again, and
Yeah.
I don't blame any of these brothers because I understand it. But at the same token, it has to be understood that life progressive, times change. You understand? So I think that's where I see the difference, or where some lodges, like our lodge, which is a curse and a blessing, because actually me and Mark were talking about it briefly today. We have an average age, and Mark can tell you better than I can, a middle-aged lodge, basically, right? What,
Yeah,
45?
we around 40, 40, probably like 48 now, something like
All right,
that.
let's say our average age is 48. That's a good age right now. Mature men come from almost the same time era.
Hmm.
We have a lot of
Generation X.
right, so we have a lot of more things in common than not. The bad thing is we're all aging together at the same time.
Yeah.
So if we don't have younger brothers coming in behind us, what happens to our lodge? So there is a curse and there is a blessing to it. And I think that's what we just on the blessing side, I think that's why our lodge runs very smoothly.
Mm.
Our conversations, even from a social perspective, are pretty much all lined up because we're from the same generation. You
And
understand?
that's, I think, was the key to what you're saying, Matt, mostly because we're a lot of the same generation. And we like during we never really had any older active members. We ain't have the brothers from the silent generation, which is a lot of the issue with them as far as that. And baby boomers, the early baby boomers really
Mhm.
had it. It's really Generation X, was a young laws in general. So you have that. No, and we just gotta remember, and we consciously remind ourselves not to get that way. We see it, we've seen it.
Mm.
I mean, and we just constantly remind ourselves not to be that way. And Eddie will tell you, I remind him. And like he was just saying that conversation, I brought and sparked the conversation for something I had. I put that out there to the laws. Listen, we are this age now, 20 to 30 years. Most of us will be just statistically. I mean, God helping, we continue to live and we'll be here, but we're either going to be dead or not able to come around like we used to.
Correct.
You know what I
Correct.
mean? So we
And
got
that's
to.
his, I'm sorry, that's go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry.
Now I was gonna say just that. So this, I put it out there for the younger members. Like, all right, so pick up the ball, keep it moving. We're here to support you, and really have the next 10 years focus so that we don't have a dip. We're trying to avoid the dip.
Mm.
It's a very, believe it or not, it's a very serious problem um for a lodge to have the situation that we're in age wise.
Hmm.
There's a lot, listen, most of us don't think so far out, right? But as lodges, we need to think far out,
Definitely.
because by the time, in the blink of an eye, like I stated earlier when we was talking, in the blink of an eye, my daughter's graduating college already. You know what I'm saying? So time goes so fast. But from my view perspective, my observations, I think that's to answer your question, that's where you see the differences between how one lodge functions in terms of how things are moving versus a lodge, and how it functions and how those things move.
Got it. Okay. I think we got like two more questions. I got our usual ending question, but Mark, you got another one?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that if Eddie, I know you mentioned about Al, but any other mentors and that you had during your time
Yeah.
in
So
the craft.
I've come. I'll answer it this way. So Al Lewis, Carthaginian Lodge. Um, we spent quite a bit of time together, studying and talking and things of that nature. And we're not as I check on him every so often. But we don't converse the way we used to. And that's just, it's okay, it's part of life.
Mm.
He's actually more on the phone with my brother than anything else. Him and my brother are constantly talking because
Yeah.
they're big into Royal Arch.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, Recently, this will be a first for Mark. I'm not one to give a lot of compliments, and I'm not one to really like look up to people like that per se, I guess. But recently, I was talking to Herman Simpson. He's the Sovereign Grand Inspector General of Long Island Consistory, Deputy of the Orient.
Deputy for Orient. There you go. He's not in
And
Long Island. King David is
I
the
mean, I'm
cap.
sorry,
So
King David. My
don't
apologies.
claim him.
Yeah, you're right. My apologies. King David number three.
Exactly.
And I actually told him. I said, I really never told this to anyone, but you're at the moment. I look at you as my mentor.
Hmm.
The man has taken me under his wing. He's available at any time. He's answered many questions I've had. And more importantly, he's solicited a lot of advice, given me a lot of advice that hasn't been solicited, and a lot of information freewheeling, which has been, it's indispensable because he's been around for that long. So if I had my current mentor would be Simon Grand Inspector General Herman Simpson. But I've also had a lot of brothers that I've looked up to. You know, my own brother, I find him to be very knowledgeable. Mark, forget about it. Like I said, I call this brother like we talk 3-4 times a week, and sometimes it's just to say how you doing, you know, just to make sure he's having a good day. But he's a big in my Masonic life, in my life period, to be quite honest. So much so that I got pissed off with him 2024 when I didn't get my Christmas card. They said that we
That
put
was
on our
hilarious.
Christmas tree every year, but he made sure to have it. No, that was 2023.
Yeah.
That was last year. He made sure. I said, babe, we got our Christmas card. Put it up on the tree. Mark's my brother, and I love this brother. Derek Pritchard is another brother that I find that very informative, that I can look up to and look for information. Damon Wright, Kevin Manley. There's a lot of brothers in
Would you
my
have
life.
any that passed away that could come to your head off top?
That was giving and informative. I
Yeah,
would
well,
say
I mean, either way, yeah, like somebody you looked
brother
up to or whatever you
McLaurin.
miss.
Brother
McLaurin. Okay.
McLaurin.
Mm-hmm.
Darren McLaurin. That brother, every time he saw me, we'd sit down and start talking. He would just start talking to me. And he would call me.
Mm-hmm.
We would talk. You know? In my early years in Masonry, I think like for anybody else, you're still trying to find your way. I wish I was then how I am now, as far as being more proactive in calling brothers. Because I would always return a call. I would always take a call, and I would make a phone call, but not at the rate that I do it now. It's like I said to Mark, I call at least 2 brothers a day, for whatever, just even if it's a hello, you know, and not in any necessary order, you know. So I try to stay in touch with 2 brothers at least a day,
Great.
you know, almost every day, to be quite honest, you know. But I do try. Just hello, how you doing? A quick text, whatever, you know.
Got it.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, so those are the guys that I look up to, and the mentor that I have now, the mentor that was before, but I still consider him a mentor because he's a very good brother and a well of knowledge.
Excellent. Yeah, I like what you mentioned too about the phone calls too. I know I got to do a better job at that, but that speaks to like a broader, a larger ask that I have with more brothers coming forward now is um, one of the things that I've spoke about to other guests on the show is one of the struggles of craft masonry, blue house masonry, is that we have brothers that are so focused in other houses that blue house masonry is struggling. And so I would say, how do we get brothers to recommit to doing at least one thing in Blue House Masonry every year, every week, every month, to help strengthen their Blue House? And Sons of Kings seems to have it in a good situation, but just in general, I just see the deterioration of the Blue House because brothers seem to be spread so thin and they're so invigorated by other houses. Great, like it's great you're in the shrine, great you're in the consistory, great you're in the red house, purple house, and at the same time, what is always trade-offs. We only have so much time, so how are you? What's the trade-off? And the blue house seems to be suffering because there's so much dividing of their time and using that 24-inch gauge. So I'm just asking brothers, just do one thing. It could be phone calls, it could be join a committee, it could be something, but just do something for your blue house lodge to help it grow. So I appreciate you saying that you at least try to make those phone calls but while you're also an officer in the lodge.
Yeah, I mean, with the Blue Lodge, I don't think we do anything special in Sons of Kings, in terms of, like, you know, yeah, we hold each other accountable. We have our masters always have the trestle board laid out. So let me start from the back. The trestle board is a big part, right? Because that's there, and we as a lodge are saying, and I'm speaking for Sons of Kings, we're going to commit to this,
Mm-hmm.
right? And because we hold ourselves accountable, you understand, we're successful in the things we do. We not might be as successful as we probably could be, but we're successful. You understand? So I think the first order of business in that, and in my opinion, the lodge is, what is the master bringing to the table, and what is the buy-in from the members? You understand? Why aren't members why aren't members coming out? You know, is it a 3-hour meeting? Which, you know, meetings should not last more than 2 hours. You know, is there fellowship afterwards? Do you guys plan a day to be together? And then as leaders of the lodge, those are the opportunities to reinforce what you're trying to do. You know, so we're having a beer and shooting pool, or we're at a barbecue, you know, and hey brother, yo, don't forget that on so and so day we have this going on, and we're checking on ticket sales for this day. We're gonna have a meeting. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And as leaders, you can't be afraid, because I always say, hey, no one came to your door looking for you. You came here, and you took an obligation and you made a commitment. So from the dues to the support that you're to give your lodge, that's the commitment you made. So you should honor it. And if not, let
Absolutely.
us know why. Where is it that we can improve to have you come out and be part of the process that you promised you were going to be?
Mm-hmm. All right.
So it's a lot of talking.
Just like through a conversation I had today with a brother, our brother Tony Marshall, he sparked to something in my mind to that level, is that, you know, like we didn't really, it sounds funny, we didn't join Freemasonry, as we know, we were taken and accepted.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That's a little, so brothers
Mm-hmm.
took you in and accept you in as a brother. So
Right.
that's a different level of commitment that we got to continue to remind ourselves that we had that, like, this is a precious thing. And it's an honor to even be in the Blue Lodge. And that's our mother. So we need to take care mother as, you know, the first thing that birthed us into the craft. So always take the time to do something for her. As I said, I think we need to have the mindset of more, that's your mother. You know what I mean? Just remember to take, especially us in like our jurisdiction, particularly where we don't have any other lodge. Like we can't join another lodge. That's the only lodge we have. We don't have, you know, where we could join other different lodges at the same time. So we need to take care of our lodge, because without that lodge membership, we can't do nothing else in the craft. So, like you said, Matt, one thing ain't no harm for anybody to do. It's, you know, you always help your lodge with one thing.
Just pick
Definitely.
one thing, one thing.
Mhm.
So speaking of one thing, Past Master Rodriguez, the last question we'll ask before we wrap up for the show today, is knowing what you know about yourself, now
Mhm.
knowing what you know about Sons of Kings Lodge number 123, if you were to become Worshipful Master again in 2026,
Mhm.
what would be the one thing that you would focus on as Worshipful Master?
Don't threaten Eddie with a good time.
Was that?
Don't threaten Eddie with a good time. You mess around and be master again.
I you know what I would focus on? Adherence to the rules would be one of my biggest things. I always tell Mark, there's a reason we do everything. And it is a big deal if you can't wear black shoes, all black shoes. It is a big deal if you can't put on a pair of long black dress socks. Because these small things that we're doing is a test to the foundation that we're going to build for the bigger things that we're going to try to do to be better men. It's impossible for you to tell me that you can do more when you're incapable of adhering and doing less. That's just my thought.
Mm,
You know, if you can say I'm gonna screw the socks, right? Something as small as that. What makes me believe that anything else that you're preaching, you're actually practicing?
mm,
You understand? So to me, those are big deals. And my thing is, and I've got this saying, and I've said it. I usually say it when I'm already to my wit's end. If we're just gonna do whatever, let's take the ritual, let's take the Constitution, put it in the garbage, and we'll just go about our business and do whatever we want. The minute that our Constitution and our ritual ceases to exist because of our lack of adherence to it, this organization no longer exists. This organization exists because of the Constitution and the ritual. That's what makes up Freemasonry. That's it.
And that other great light that says, if it's more,
What is that?
we are no longer can call
In the
ourselves
great
free and
light, in the
accepted
great light
Right.
Masons.
at the altar.
Right. Right. And if I was there,
Yeah.
I would do that. I would be on that, and probably a little bit more getting brothers into the books. I think everything else, as far as Sons of Kings, is good. I would encourage and strongly recommend, as I say, like to say, or encourage brothers to be more into reading Masonic material. You don't have to read big books. Just get something, and little by little get in tune with what's going on. You understand? Because at the same token, I said this is a transformative assignment. That's your key goal. The bottom line is there's other things that we should know. We should know our ritual. We should know the Constitution and our bylaws. Because that's what's governing us. And it's like I told one of the officers, which I remain nameless not too long ago. I said, how can you, as an officer, not be able to participate and have to sit quiet because you're not in tune with the bylaws of the Constitution? I said, you're an officer. You should be part of every discussion that pertains to anything going on in this lodge. Now, you don't need to know it all, but if you're on the line, if there's a discussion about something being done irregular through the bylaws or the Constitution, you should be part of that conversation, not sitting there observing and listening because you don't know. You understand? If there's degree work, fine, you don't need to know everything because no one knows everything. You should have a clue. So if there's something done out of order, you should, as an officer, should be one of the first people to get up and say, hey, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. Or I believe that's not what we're doing or should be doing.
All right.
So
appreciate that. Thank you.
Before you
Past
end,
Master
though,
Rodriguez. Okay,
before
go
you
ahead.
end, I want to know about Past Master Matt Wagstaff. I mean, Eureka 36, Rochester. What do you do now? Are you on the line?
Nah, he's a district deputy grand master.
Okay, nice. Okay, I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm not going to ask Mark about Mark because I know Mark, but I wanted to get an idea. But I got another question, and just give me a little background on yourself, Past Master. How did you guys meet? How did this come about? Because I'm interested. I mean, you guys, Mark's in Brooklyn. Well, not now. Mark was in Brooklyn. You're in Rochester. How did this just all come about?
Yeah, well, we have a whole episode on this one, by the way, too.
Okay.
So we can share that episode.
Give me the episode. No, give me the episode.
Real quick, I'll send you the episode, but the quick version.
Yeah, I mean, it's just this traveling. So going to mid-year, and so we met in mid-year. I think you had just got raised too. I mean, you were like right around time when you got raised, Mark. I mean, you were already out.
Well, when I first joined Prince Hall, joined the
Prince
KG.
Hall, yeah,
yep, yeah. The first mid-year I came out, so that was 2020. Your year, Eddie, 2015, probably, probably so, right?
Yeah,
exactly. That was the first year mid-year. We met. Matt Kane had the idea for the show, asked me to join him. So,
but we've been connected for 10 years, so this ain't an overnight. Exactly. It's not an overnight thing. This is years of knowing each other and getting to know each other.
Nice. Well, I'll send me the episode because I will look at it. And Past Master Wagstaff, so District Deputy Grand Master, and anything that you're doing exciting in Prince Hall Masonry or in your lodge.
Yeah, masonry takes up a large chunk of my life. I'm the secretary of my lodge. That's my past master duty. So at any of the secretaries out there, you know how much that could take up. I'm currently district president for the 7th district, as well as newly appointed district deputy grand master. But my biggest passion is learning the funeral, and so just continuing to learn the funeral. It's one of my biggest pain points in masonry too. Is everybody has all these things, but when it comes to burying our dead, giving our final respects, we seem to have some challenges there, and I don't know what that's about. But I'm trying to do my part with that. So that's my project is like really doing the funeral justice going forward.
Well, I congratulate you on that because the truth of the matter is you're right. Unfortunately, there's a big problem when brothers die. There's a very limited number of brothers that could come out and do a funeral part. and it's a shame that sometimes it's substituted with a declaration or proclamation of some sort.
Mm.
And I laugh, but it's not funny. It's not funny because that is one of the things that we should be doing and not substituting with a piece of paper.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I commend you and thank you, brother. It's been a pleasure. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, exactly. But let's wrap it up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Pastor Rodriguez, definitely thank you for coming on the show this evening. You have blessed us with a few good stories and things for brothers to remember, and also gave us some good light to impart and to think about. Um, I've summarized your memorization of the middle chamber into how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time. So brothers, you could take the ritual and study a little bit at a time, sentence by sentence, and before you know it, you can have it down. Maybe not as fast as a month, or maybe even faster than a month, or you can have it in 6 months. Most of us have it. You can have a whole year to study it, and you could definitely learn the middle chamber. So do that work, brothers. Um, pick, to be an effective leader means you have to pick the right people and get out their way. And I have personally seen that with Brother Rodriguez. You need to have honesty, to keep your word, listen more than you speak, and to be pleasant. Definitely know a lot of times brothers get caught up about how they being spoke to. So being pleasant can go a long way within this craft, definitely. Um, and one important major thing, of course, is always keep a contact with your brother. And more major is lodges need to have a long range view. I know a lot of times where we live, what I say is paycheck to paycheck, which is master to master, instead of looking down the road. And if we look down the road more, I think that we really could solve a little of those problems as lodges going to sleep, because we would catch all these issues in the little fires before they came big, and we secure ourselves up more. So, brothers, take the time to look down the road, see how the ages you're large, and whatever it is. Listen, you a junior deacon right now, you're gonna be master one day. I mean, if you're aiming for it or whatever, everything go good. So look down the line to when you're gonna be mastering, what's the year and what you need to take care of and all that. The longer you take to get yourself prepared, the better prepared you will be. And again, Past Master Rodriguez, we thank you for being on the show.
Absolutely, absolutely. I echo Mark's sentiments for sure. Definitely a pleasure to meet you, Past Master Rodriguez, and hopefully I get to learn a little bit more about you in the future. Maybe we'll connect in a mid-year or a grand session, or even outside of that, just so I can learn more about you. I'm getting more into my Masonic reading, so you've lit a fire under me to even do more reading than I do at this moment. I'm writing. I write a lot Masonically, but I want to do some more reading too. So I
Nice.
appreciate you reminding me about the reading aspect of it and really lighting that fire. And I appreciate like the internal fire that you have and that you bring that consistently is the sense that I get just from our hour and a half conversation so far. So thank you for that, and thank you for what you do for Sons of Kings and for the craft. So much
Um,
appreciated to you.
Man, I'm gonna say just some one thing quick personally. As you talked about how close we are, and I definitely appreciate your friendship and brotherhood, Eddie. One thing about Brother Rodriguez is he cares not just about Freemasonry, but he cares about the brothers becoming better, as you see, as he talked about. So within his leadership style, it's not just to take care of get things done. It's for you to learn lessons, for you to grow as an individual man. And if you take on that work with, he will assist you in helping with that. So I do appreciate and thank you for that, Brother Rodriguez.
That's it, and
Thank you
that's
for those kind words.
yeah.
I appreciate it. I thank you for having me on. I thank Mark for stopping me. I almost ended your show for you. But I thank brothers. No, seriously, it was a time well spent. And I'm looking forward to if coming back on. If you have any other topics, uh, state of the craft, that might get me in trouble.
Oh man, yes, yes, yes.
We need to have a round table one day.
We do, we do, we do need to have a round table. That's for
Actually,
sure.
me and
That's for
Brother
sure.
Wagstaff, we'll talk about that immediately. That has to be a private conversation.
Yeah, it is.
That one will
There we
get me in
go.
trouble. But no, seriously, anything that you guys, any other, I'm looking forward to any topics that you might have in the future. It was great experience. The time went very quick. Time well spent. I enjoyed it, and I wish you brothers much success on your future podcast interviews. And I will be looking now at your past podcasts interviews. Brothers, thank you again. God bless you, and continue being the light and the hope of this craft, because this is what we need. We need brothers like yourselves and so many other brothers that are out there taking time from their busy schedules to continue to uplift and to continue to strengthen and keep the foundation where it needs to be solid. So thank you again, and God bless you. Have a great night, brothers.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, thank
Oh,
you, thank you. So
don't
with that,
don't
for brothers and sisters listening right now, please like and subscribe to the channel. Please share this episode with as many people as you see, as you know, who might receive some value from what was shared tonight from Past Master Rodriguez. We like to say that the world needs leaders, and leadership starts with leading yourself. It is impossible for you to lead other people if you cannot lead yourself. So please take one or two nuggets from what you heard tonight or more and apply them to your life, whether you are in the craft or outside of the craft. And until then, to the next episode, God bless.